Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us, and that helps the bands and artists that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR. Outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are back home after our night in New York City, well, technically New Jersey, but close enough, at MetLife Stadium for the 22nd show of Oasis's reunion tour. 70,000 fans attended last night's show, which we attended, and Sunday night's show. So we're going to dive into it. We're going to give you a recap. We're going to give you everything that, to make you feel like you were there, as much details, and, we'll go from there. So we'll see how it goes. And I have some props that my wonderful partner in crime, she made, that she was able to wear at the show. So the first thing I want to talk about is, yes, there was so much merch that was being worn. It felt very like, and I have not seen Taylor Swift in concert, but I can imagine like, when 60 or 70% of your audience is wearing some sort of merch of your band, whether you made it yourself, whether you bought it at the show, whether you had it for 20 years, 25 years. But it was very apparent how many people had merch on, whether it was bucket hats. They had these cool Adidas tour jerseys that were, yeah, just super awesome. So we saw a lot of those. If you follow our social media pages, you saw pictures that we posted that really did capture, like there were just lines and lines of merch. And then we actually got to see one of the merch trucks leaving the gas station that we were pulled in on the highway. So he was heading to LA for their shows on the 6th and 7th at the Rose Bowl. So yeah, so fans with the merch, obviously we got that. What's cool about the MetLife Stadium is it is really convenient to a lot of like major highways. So like the flow of traffic getting in and getting out, it seemed to be pretty nice. We'll get into us at the end of the night, our struggles, but it did feel like that. And there's this huge mall, which we're going to talk about. It's called the American Dream Mall. It's literally adjacent to the property of the MetLife Stadium. It is the largest mall in North America. I think that's their claim. But it's ridiculous. Like it is like the King of Prussia Mall or any of the biggest malls that you know of in your town or in your city. It's like this mall is those on steroids. And what was cool is when we went in there to grab some, food and something to drink before we went to the stadium. Of course, the entire mall, it was Oasis playing the entire time. The restaurant that we were at, they were playing Oasis the entire time. So many fans walking around at the mall. It was just a cool collective experience that you really don't get to experience with most bands. And, at a stadium show, it just makes that all so much better. People that we met people that drove 6 hours to get to the show and were going home that 6 hours. They weren't even staying at a hotel. We met some people from Alabama. We met some people from Massachusetts. Obviously a lot of Brits. But it was a definite like diverse crowd. Young, old, black, white, Spanish, like just everyone was represented, which really says a lot about the band themselves. So let's get into the set list. Obviously, we know the set list. We knew the set list. It has not changed. It's 23 songs. but I will kind of go through some of the set list of songs that I just really felt like hit more than others. And I kind of talked about this, and I'll plug my episode as well. So we did a episode before this that premiered yesterday, were five songs that I would have liked to seen on this set list. It doesn't mean I wanted to take any away, but after hearing them live tonight, I think I did kind of come up with like three or four songs that, but I'm not going to talk about that. But there were five songs, so check out that episode because that was really fun to do. But yeah, so let's go through the set list. The kickoff with "Fucking in the Bushes." It not only is that song so good, but the visuals and like just how they did it. The headlines they were capturing newspaper headlines stuff. That they were back and all this stuff. It was just really well done. So I appreciate the visual aspect as well as the musical aspect. Speaking of the music, the sound. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I know why there are more stadium shows now, because A, these musicians are obviously able to fill them, but it's also because the fact is the sound is so much better than what I remember at stadium shows or even at amphitheater shows. There was no delay, there was no echo. Like what was coming out of their mouth is what we heard, and we were up in the 300 level. So it was, really impressive. The screen sizes, I mean, and it was funny because, of course, you have two brothers in a band. The left side screen, that if you're looking at the stage, that had Liam, and the right side the right side screen that had Noel. So I bet 80% of the time, one of those two were on those screens at all time. Which again, that's if that's how you get this tour together, that's how you do it. But even so, like being that far away from the stage, the screens were just so massive and so clear. Just the definition was just unbelievable. Like you just saw everything. So you didn't really feel like you were missing anything. From a sound perspective, it just sounded great. And them as a band, like give them credit. Like it's been 16 years and they are just a well-oiled machine. Which again, let's get into the set list. So hello, Acquiescence. Acquiescence was awesome. And Noel, or I'm sorry, Liam, before Acquiescence, he used a bottle of water and he did the sign of the cross with like he like got water on his fingers and then did it with the sign of the cross. Liam was very talkative, very playful, more so than what I had seen in videos that I watched of previous shows. And I might be wrong, but it just felt like he was more talkative and playful, like I said. So that was kind of cool to see. And Noel, for the most part, was very stoic throughout the night. Obviously, when he was shredding, he couldn't be, but when he wasn't, he was just, you could tell he was just taking it all in and just so appreciative that, America still appreciates them, and they definitely showed up on these tour dates. And I can't imagine what LA is going to look like at the Rose Bowl. So again, back to the set list. Supersonic just hit really, really hard. Fantastic. Talk Tonight, one of my favorite songs, an underrated song in their catalog. Noel just knocked it out of the park. Although I will say, with the full band, it is a different song than when it's just him acoustic. And, obviously, duh, Chad, yes, it's a different song, but like, it's a different sound, it's a different feel, it's a different vibe, but it's still a great song. Half the World Away, of course, was dedicated to the Irish in the Crowd. That seemed to be kind of a regular occurrence with this song in particular with the band. And then we get Little by Little. My God, like just crushed that. Like that song was on another level. Again, one of my favorite songs of theirs that's, not as well known, but for true fans, like that song, if you heard that song on this tour, you had to feel great. Like it's just a great song. And they just, like I said, just next level. So definitely check that song if you're watching any of these videos. And of course, there was somebody that had the full show this afternoon of last night's show, so you can watch it already on YouTube. Stand By Me had a lot of sing along, which was great. The song for me is not one of their strong songs, but like the crowd definitely backed Liam on that one. Live Forever, of course, they just lived up to that expectation of that song. Just crushed it. But to end the set with Rock and Roll Star was just a punch in the face and then just continued like kicks to the gut. They dedicated it to John McEnroe, who was in the crowd. Apparently, Matt Damon was in the crowd last night as well, but he didn't get a dedication. John McEnroe did because John McEnroe is a bad motherfucker. But Rock and Roll Star was also a bad motherfucker. Like just that song again, just absolutely crushed. So happy that the energy in that song is still alive and well. Again, 16 years later. And then, of course, the four song encore, it's just not fair. Like, if any band had the opportunity to have these four songs as your closing, the master plan, which they did band introductions at that point, and I think that was pretty standard with the tour. Don't Look Back in Anger. What do you say? Like, there's nothing to say. Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova. Now, what was cool about Champagne Supernova, they followed with fireworks and a pretty nice display, I must say. I've seen at 47 years old, I've seen a lot of fireworks in my day, and it was top notch for a tour ending, you know, fireworks display. So I'm sure that cost a lot of money, but this tour made them a lot of money, so it all works out. And yeah, it was a nice touch. I would also be remiss to not mention Bonehead on the master plan. Just absolutely shredded that song. And like again, there were songs that were met with the expectation of that song. Master Plan was one of those songs that just Bonehead really made that next level. The trumpet player, the saxophone player, the trombone player. Got to give them props for I think they were probably on like two or three songs, maybe four, but definitely added to, that wall of sound. So that was awesome. And, nice to see. Let's see. So, fireworks are done. So after the show, we're trying to get out of there. I will give MetLife Stadium a little bit of a knock. If you're up on the 300 level, it will take you forever to get down to the ground level. Like it was just like I just felt like I was cattle being herded. And again, with 70,000 people, I guess that's expected, but it seemed like they could have had the hallways or the walkways wider to be able to fit more people. It just seemed very cattle shooty instead of like a nice free flowing, you're seeing the city, New York City in the distance, it felt like they kind of missed the boat or missed opportunity there. So again, let's back to the merch before we get into anything else. Again, I'd be remiss. So my partner in crime, Kendra, she made the Oasis bucket hat. So cool, so cool. And then she also did a shirt. She's electric. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So there you have that. So, anyway, so after the show, the only thing I'll knock again, it took us an hour and a half to get a Lyft or Uber back to where we had parked. So way too many people trying to get Ubers and Lyft. But again, that's what I guess you're going to get with 70,000 people. To wrap, I mean, for me, this was the third time I've gotten to see this band. I was emotional. Like there were songs that I was just full on crying. I had to wait until this time of night actually because my voice was pretty shot this morning. And then I actually had to host trivia tonight, so I wanted to save my voice for that. So I'm feeling a little better now, but This morning I did not have much of a voice, so I couldn't give you that like instant update that I wanted to give you or recap. But you get it now. So I'm just so honored and so appreciative that I got to see, one of my favorite bands get back together as brothers after everything that the division, the fights, the you know attacks through social media and through like the internet. It was really nice to see them embrace when they, entered the stage, and then at the end of the show, we got an embrace as well. So, Oasis, ladies and gentlemen, night two, MetLife Stadium in New York City, technically New Jersey. Um, Again, the sound was great. That stadium, again, I would definitely go back there. Just would not Uber or Lyft the next time. I would just drive and eat the parking. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you were at the show, would love to hear in the comments like what you felt about it and what you thought. So yeah, there you have it. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands and artists that we've featured. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dog. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.